Today we are going to talk about paragraph proofs. Yay! What a paragraph proof is the logic, the thinking behind your proof just written out in sentences. So you're going to use words like as shown in, therefore, then, to move from statement to statement and to give your reasons. Okay? And so we're going to take this paragraph proof and we're going to put it in a 2-column proof. And it's going to go like this. The first statement in any proof is what? I hope you can see that that is the given. So this sentence that is highlighted is the same as the given statement at the top of our proof. So we're going to write that angle 5 and angle 7 are vertical angles and write our reason is given. Now we're going to look at the picture that's given and say, as shown in the diagram, angle 5 and angle 6 are a linear pair, and angle 6 and angle 7 are a linear pair. We're using our knowledge of angles to make that statement, and the picture that we're given shows these angles on the same line, so we can call them linear pairs, okay? And the reason we're going to give is, well, that's the definition of a linear pair, and it's shown in our diagram. Next, we're going to say by the linear pair postulate, angle 5 and angle 6 are supplementary, and angle 6 and angle 7 are supplementary. That linear pair postulate just tells us that if something's a linear pair, then those two angles are going to add to 180 every time. So the fact that 5 and 6 and angle 6 and 7 are supplementary is because they're linear, they're linear pairs. So ultimately, we can make our final statement. See the word so, and we're using the congruent supplements theorem. Angle 5 and angle 7 are also shown to be congruent here. Keep in mind that while you're working on these, you're going to want to have a list of your theorems and postulates in front of you. We've already made one about postulates, and we'll give you some theorems as well. And also remember that you're going to be able to choose from a word bank your statements and reasons. So you're not going to have to come up with this stuff on your own, okay? So let's go ahead and look at another. We're given here that angle 1 and angle 4 are congruent. And so we're supposed to prove that angle 2 and angle 3 are congruent. How are we going to do that? We're going to write a paragraph proof in this case, okay? We're going to start with our given. Angle 1 and angle 4 are congruent. Then we're going to have to use our knowledge of angles to go further with this proof. You might recall that vertical angles are formed when you have two lines that are crossing like that. So if you take a look at it another way, I'm going to know in this picture that angle A is congruent to angle B because when two lines cross like this, they make vertical angles, okay? So this line and this line crossing tells me that they're vertical angles and tells me that they're congruent. So back to our proof. Knowing that about vertical angles, we can say by the vertical angles congruence theorem, angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Now because of what we're given, because of angle 1 being congruent to angle 4, we can use the transitive property of congruence to move things around here and say that angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. And then if we just shift things around one more time, we're going to end up with our proving statement, which is angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Again, I think it's going to be helpful to look at a different way. Here's angle 1 and angle 4. They're both blue because we are given that they are congruent. So we already knew that. Then again, given by our understanding of vertical angles, we can say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 here, and that angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 here. And whoops, that was my bad. There's a typo. Sorry. So that's angle 2. Okay. Then, because we were given that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4, we can do this. We can move it around, right? And say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. Then, using the transitive property of equality, we can basically do whatever we want here and show that all of these angles are congruent to one another. And so the proof we wrote is showing us that if we use the transitive property of equality once, we can say that. And then if we use it again, what we were asked to prove is that angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. But essentially, you could say that any of these angles is congruent to the other. So I hope this is helpful. This has been a demonstration of how to work with paragraph proofs, and we'll get some practice of this in class next time. See ya.